Hi, in this video, I address a compelling question for this course, the issue of student dropouts or student attrition in the case of massive open online courses. And the issue becomes very important because in the case of massive open online courses, or what we call MOOCs, the attrition rates can go as high as 96% or even 97%. So imagine a situation where you have 10,000 students, and of those 10,000 students, only about 3% or even 2% will pass. If it were in the context of a traditional university, that would probably be considered criminal, and it will certainly lead to a lot of investigation on the high attrition rate. And this issue, therefore, of student attrition has also emerged in the case of studies involving massive open online courses or MOOCs. And this has been touched upon by Sir John Daniel, Armstrong, and a lot of other researchers who feel that it is an issue that must be addressed. Now, the issue of student attrition is not a trivial issue because the more students there are who end up failing to graduate in a traditional university face-to-face classroom setting, for example, it means there is a potential loss of revenue on the part of the university. And in the case of students, as argued strongly by Simpson, it means that a high attrition rate means that a lot of students would have actually ended up wasting their money, their resources, and it often leads even to emotional turmoil in the lives of these students. So he makes a very compelling case that student attrition is an issue that must be addressed strongly by higher education institutions. And I certainly cannot disagree with that. But the question simply is, but the question should be, is student attrition even a correct criterion to be using in the case of MOOCs? And my argument, as I will show in this video, is to say that we might need to rethink that issue, mainly because it does not seem to be appropriate as far as MOOCs are concerned. And I will raise three reasons for that, which I already elaborated in my previous critical reflections of the 6 artifacts in this course. But I will just be focusing on three key issues. And the first key issue would be the issue of motivations of students in enrolling in MOOCs. Students in the first place, as shown by a lot of studies, indicate that they are not interested in actually completing their courses. Their primary motivation ranges from just professional development without actually getting any certification. It can involve fun, enjoyment, even intellectual stimulation, and getting to know other people. For them, that's it. And so therefore, there is no inherent logic on their part to actually complete a course. So if on the part of the students in the first place, there was never any intention to finish the course, why would we expect them to complete it in the first place? And why would then we say that it is an inherent weakness on the part of MOOCs if a lot of the students drop out? If, as we said from the very first place, students were never interested in completing the course. Secondly, from the viewpoint of university as institutions, a lot of these universities engage in MOOCs as a form of innovation, as a form of experiment, to try to learn more about learning and teaching practices in an online environment. There was never, at least for now, there has never been an articulation of a desire to try to improve completion rates. Because certainly, if you have a MOOCs where you have about 10,000 or even 12,000 students, and a university would be interested in increasing completion rates, it will probably mean that there will be need for support towards the students to make sure that they complete the courses. But that will entail massive amounts of financial resources. But universities have indicated, those involved in MOOCs have indicated that they just want to do this as an experiment, whether it's in the case of Harvard or MIT or Duke University. And so therefore, should we take it against these universities if their interest in the first place was never to enhance student completion, but mainly to just use this as experiments, or maybe as a way of giving back to society by providing access to quality education to a lot of these students. And so the third argument that could be raised is that MOOCs at this point are quite experimental. And so therefore, because they are in their seminal phase, it may be unreasonable to think that they should already reach the level of success of traditional teaching that we see in universities. And as I looking at the issue of MOOCs now, as I see it, it becomes, I would like to address that issue from a different viewpoint. It should not be, we should not be looking at MOOCs as if, we look at it as student attrition, but look at it from the viewpoint of playing maybe rugby or even basketball. A lot of the players play basketball or rugby, not so much really to complete the game. They're not going to play for the whole time, but they're there maybe for a few minutes. They score points, they run around the field, and they enjoy it. And I think that is the kind of metaphor that we should be examining when we look at MOOCs, because it's not about student completions in the end. It's mainly about the engagement, the development of intellectual, developing a community of inquiry among students, and the desire to be, to try to learn more through professional development without having to invest too much money and resources, because then you're freely able to leave and you're freely able to access a lot of these courses at any time. And this is a crucial point, because it would be too premature and too early to say that MOOCs, are innovations that should not be taken seriously. Because if you look at the case of the paper of Allen and Seaman, when they did their survey of a lot of the academic managers of American universities, there seems to be an indication that there is no desire for MOOCs to become a more popular, innovative activity in universities. Now, reflecting further in my incoming role as lecturer at Central Queensland University in academic professional development, and I was asked that question in my interview, I think that it will be helpful for CQU, assuming it's willing to make the investment, to actually consider the possibility of even coming up with a massive open online course, mainly for three reasons. One, it actually widens participation for students who may not be in a position to get involved in a traditional university setting and pay fees. And this is very helpful for those students who might be in developing countries, who have less resources therefore. And secondly, the advantage of having a MOOCs, as far as CQU is concerned, is that it again becomes a skunkworks, or what Christensen calls skunkworks, an opportunity for experimentation and innovation. And we can learn from all of these experiments in a MOOCs environment on how we can improve teaching and learning in a massive open environment. And thirdly, it can be about improving the reputation of CQU as well, and thinking of its image as a global citizen. And these are the reasons why I think MOOCs are something that should be taken seriously. Thank you.